Commonplace Book. So this is a Commonplace binder. It's basically the same as a Commonplace Book. They're rings, so there are no page numbers because we put stuff in and we take stuff out. And so it wouldn't really make sense to have page numbers. And if we don't have page numbers, we shouldn't have an index because the index is all about the page numbers. So this is getting a little heavy on my hand, especially this little finger here. So I'm going to set this down. All right, an unexpected way to plan. Well, first I should explain this. So this is the Commonplace Binder 101 playlist. We're on video number 53. So we're pretty far in. This is this video. That is next video. And we're going to go through these one column at a time. So I'm going to try to focus here, but I have a habit of watching myself for the first video. So Commonplace Book, what the heck is that? Well, there are a lot of videos on YouTube for that, so I'm not going to explain that here. Ancient method. I will say it's been it's been around for a very, very long time. So hundreds, if not thousands of years, depending on your definition. And again, lots of videos on that. I'm not going to go into that. Taking your time. Am I taking my time with this video? Well, we're approaching a minute and 30 seconds, and I'm about 3 note cards in. So I'm kind of taking my time here, but I do sound kind of rushed, and that's not really the ideal. So if you're working on a Commonplace Book or a Commonplace binder, should you be taking your time? Not important. Not important to take your time? Well, then why are we doing this? Well, at the beginning, when you start out, you can rush through this because eventually you're going to slow down because it's paper, and paper is kind of annoying to deal with, especially if you're used to digital stuff because you can just type it or you can talk into your phone or whatever. It's fine. So it's not really important to take it slow at first. You could, and a lot of people will say to do that, but like if you have a fast-paced life and your brain is also kind of fast and everyone around you is saying stuff all the time, it's gonna be hard. It might be a little difficult to go slow. Serenity. Are you gonna have serenity if you're going quickly? Let's slow down, take a breath. A bunch of people probably just laughed right there. So if I try to calm down a little bit more, what should I do right now? Well, I should probably take the sweatshirt off. Okay. Does that feel calmer? Do you feel okay? How do you feel about the new shirt? This is a new color. I was asking somebody what sort of colored shirts I should be wearing in front of something like this. I don't know. Unique path. Are you going to reach serenity or have a serene experience on this unique path of a Commonplace Book as a Commonplace binder? I don't know. It's the kind of thing you have to try. It's not really the... It's a unique path. I feel like I don't need to explain what a unique path is because it will be different for everyone. It might be that you try it and you find out pretty quickly, that's not for me. Look back on. So one of the benefits of a Commonplace Book or a Commonplace binder is you do it and then you look back at it later. So you might find that it doesn't actually work for you, which is totally fine. I have no vested interest in that because I am not selling anything. So I can say that. Yeah, it might work, might not work. And I think you should probably start with binder before a book because in a book, like I said earlier, you can't really move the stuff around. But yeah, how is this an unexpected way to plan? I feel like I've been skipping that the entire time. We're 4 minutes in. So it is a thing to look back on. What? How? Because it's a safety net. And so you might not have planned for tomorrow. You might not have planned for next month. But it might be that you wrote down exactly what you did last year. That might mean you didn't solve the problem today, but you solved it a long time ago. So all you have to do is look back at your old stuff and go, oh, I did the thing. And there are a lot of other benefits like that where You know, it's like having a journal or a notebook or really any sort of information capture thing. You just put the stuff in there and then turn it into something. So it might be that you throw something in there and it's not actually that useful. Well, why is it not useful? It might be the why it's not useful is actually significantly more useful than the thought you saved in the first place. You have permission. So you might be a little worried to work on a Commonplace book or a Commonplace binder, because if you work on the book, then you are participating in an ancient tradition which has to be done in a precise way because it was done by these fancy people from a long time ago with lots of money. Okay, I mean, it's like a fancy way of taking notes. So the fancier people had access to the fancier supplies. You're fine. But yeah, you have permission to do this differently because this is kind of just taking notes. So like, if you would like to do this in a different way, like if you would like to use a binder instead of a book, then just use the binder. If you want to use a tablet, if you want to use a ridiculous number of like hand or phone-sized notepads, I don't know why you would do that, but maybe that works better for you. I don't know. Liking the hard work. So if you do this for a long time, you might end up liking the process rather than the actual outcome. And that can be kind of a problem because if you ever stop liking the process, you are going to have so much paper. And that's sort of what happened to me at one point because I was hanging out with my cat and I wanted to spend more time with my cat and I didn't have a lot of money or resources to work with. So what I did is I worked on my paper stuff. At some point the cat died and I had a lot of paper and my whole life was tied to being in my room. That was a problem. So, you know, whatever system you make might be designed for your specific situation. I mean, that's kind of how that's supposed to go. But at some point, the situation will change and your system will have to change along with it. Or you'll just kind of have to leave it behind, which is not really what people want to do. Journal. I wrote journal, I think, more than like anything else on these note cards. And in my outline, I think I included journal more than anything else. And yet, it's the thing that people don't seem to click on. And I don't actually like talking about it. So maybe people figured out that I don't like talking about it or that it doesn't really work with my project. But it was one of, if not the most frequent thing that popped up. So I'm not really sure what that says. So an unexpected way to plan with your journal? I don't know, man. That seems like a bit of a stretch. Long-term plans. So what's an unexpected way to plan long-term plans? Well, you could look through a book or a bibliography or something and write down all the cool things that some other people have done. And then do those things? I don't know. This whole title feels like a bit of a stretch. I'm not really sure what we're doing here. Also, I'm probably not doing the best job presenting right now. I am very tired, and it is almost spring, but you know, the weather's been a little weird since around 2010. And yeah, I'm gonna try to get back to this. Grab a binder. I guess I could pick up the binder. So what am I gonna do with this? Well, an unexpected way to plan. Ooh, I wrote out all the different video ideas. So these are the videos we're going to be going through this year. This is an unexpected way to plan. That doesn't help me here. 53, that does help me. Planner. Oh, that's why I don't know what's going on in this video. Because I don't really want to talk about planners. Yeah, so an unexpected way to plan? With a planner? No way! So, one thing related to that I have, that I don't keep in the binder, I keep it digitally, is I have a 90-day plan, essentially. So I write out the next 4 months worth of stuff. So right now it is March. So that means I need to include March, April, May, June, I think. Unless I somehow messed up the months. And so the way it works is I just write out whatever's coming up, and then, you know, I look at it like once a week, and it kind of helps me figure out what's going to happen and plan a little bit ahead, because with a to-do list, I never really get more than a week ahead, but with a 90-day plan, I can, you know, get at least 2 weeks ahead, and because I can see things that are coming a few months in advance, but I don't have to keep like an actual full-size planner. I just have a document that's like a page where it's like, you have big things coming up. For March, it's pretty much just people's birthdays, because for whatever reason, I make friends with people who have March birthdays, like, all the time. It's like, oh, this has been a good conversation, but I hope you're a person whose birthday isn't in March. They're like, it is in March, how did you know? Like, again? I mean, it's fine to, like, have random chance work that way, but it's just a little weird, and it makes my calendar look like an absolute mess, because I'll go like 3 months with 0 birthdays, and then it's like, there are 4 birthdays in the first 4 days. What? Sort your thoughts. So, do I have to write down my thoughts on that? No. So, sometimes writing down my thoughts on that sort of thing will actually be helpful in how to plan things. It's mostly useful in how to cancel things. Like, if I'm writing down, I don't want to do this thing, in something more like a journal every single day, then I should probably cancel that thing. Now, again, not related to the Commonplace Book, because I don't use the binder for that specific task. I use my to-do list, and what I do is I include a task every day that says reduce a task. And so what I'll do with that is I'm trying to figure out what is a task that I would reduce, but the problem with what is a task that I would reduce is it's a task that I'm going to get rid of. So let's say I had a task to work on my emails or delete an email every single day. So I would write delete an email and then a little line and then daily. And so then I would write that on the next page, and instead of daily, it would say every 2 days. And I'd put a line under it to, you know, just like put it in a little box. And I'd cross it out on the day before, or the current day. And then I'd also move reduce a task to the next page. And so that way, I don't have to deal with it, and it's great because it feels like I got something done. But it doesn't actually do anything. So in that way, I can get rid of one thing that I just don't want to do that day, or a thing at the bottom of my to-do list, which was transferred from the day before that I didn't get to. And it might be that I didn't get to it because it's just not supposed to be done every single day. Different stuff. What is some... different stuff? This video is such a stretch. Different stuff. Unexpected way to plan. What is some different stuff? Oh, okay. So this is one binder. And I don't use a planner. But one thing I used to use is I would have monthly binders. And so that way I didn't actually have to plan the month at all. I would simply have a binder for each month, and then the overflow stuff would get transferred from the main binder into the monthly binders, and it would get trimmed down from there. But what this would do is it would, like, make my brain essentially think that it was reading a book from a year ago and get me into the mindset that I had in that month. And so it was really useful at just kind of stabilizing the year, because it was like having 12 additional holidays throughout the year that had specific memories attached to them. So I might get back into it. I'm not really sure how I can do that as content, because, you know, that is the personal stuff. And I can't really do that on my own without making it content, because it would just not be very efficient. So what I'm doing right now with my headset is very efficient, because I'm turning on the 2 monitors with my headset. All right, getting started. So what will you need to start a Commonplace book or a Commonplace binder? Well, you're going to need something that has paper, and you're going to need a writing utensil. That's about it. So you will need a place to keep the thing. Like, for example, I just set the binder down. And so if you don't have a place to keep the thing, it's going to be very difficult to keep the thing. Because it might get lost, it might get misplaced. And what you want to do is have the thing in a specific place, so whenever you have the thought, you can just go to that place and then write it down. Clean your space. In order to have a space to put the thing, you might need to clean up the space a little bit. And so it might not be that you're planning for the future in terms of good things that you want to do. You might just be preventing bad things from happening. So if you have a bunch of bottles or glasses right up against the edge of a desk, you know, you should probably plan for the possibility that those might fall over. You know, they might get knocked off the desk. And so before you do all the fancy planning of like, I would love to do this big giant change in the future, maybe just make sure your socks don't get wet first. You know, like nobody likes wet socks. Organization. So how do I organize my stuff after I make sure that my socks don't get wet? Well, you could plan out your day. And I just had a big pause, so there's probably a cut in the video, because there was something I did not plan that happened. Reduce stress. So this headset helps me reduce stress quite a bit. So this might also help, but there's certain things that the book or binder can't really assist with. So this is like a general thing. It'll do a whole bunch of different tasks. Like you could have this sort of as a journal, sort of as a planner. It could be a whole bunch of different things. Like maybe this is the place where you experience Serenity. But having the headset really reduces the noise. So I can still hear stuff when there's a very loud noise. You know, like that was a door closing. Fairly loudly. I don't know where we are, so we're going to go with reduce stress. I think I did this one already, but sometimes what you have to do to reduce stress is just go over the things again. Like, did I leave the thing in the microwave? Did I turn off the stove? You know, take the first step. So whatever the first step is that will bring you in the right direction, you should probably do that one first if it's really easy and takes less than 5 minutes. So I think if you don't have one of these, you should probably get one of these. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a binder. It could just be a little text doc on your computer that says, I should do the thing, and then write the date. So you know when you wrote that. That'll give you a little bit of a chronology if you really need one. And it might be that what you write down as like when I did the thing is a little bit different. Like for example, I like to remember that I started my whole binder process on the 25th of May 2015. But the thing is, I know that's a lie, and because I know that's a lie, it drives me crazy, and I have to remember it, because it was actually in between the 22nd and the 23rd. But I liked that all the fives lined up, so I was like, oh yeah, it was the one with the fives. But yeah, around midnight on the 22nd, for whatever reason, I was just like, I have to do this. And so I probably technically did it on the 23rd. But yeah, on the 22nd, I was just thinking to myself, like, I need to make this change. I don't know why I need to make this change, but I need to make this change right now. So, yeah, not sure if that was the healthiest way to recall stories. But that is what the next video is going to be about. So that's just a summarized title. I don't really know exactly what it's going to be, and I guess you don't know exactly either, unless these videos came out in reverse order, because when videos are uploaded on YouTube to be released at the exact same time, sometimes the order will change. I don't know exactly why. It seems to be that the videos that are longer are sometimes just like pushed ahead, but I might have gotten that reversed because I'm not looking at it right now. I know it's normally one or the other, but it might just be a but it might just be a coincidence, and I've screwed up my words too many times during this video for all of that to be a coincidence. So thank you for sticking with it. That's the next video. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, goodbye.